Guys, welcome to another episode of Penny Pincher Firearms. Today I am shooting something I promised you guys for ages. I am finally shooting the Walker revolver. You already know a bit of the history about this gun if you're looking into it, so I'm not going to go into that stuff. So why don't I cut over to where I show you guys how to load a black powder revolver. That way, if you don't know, kind of gives you an idea of what you're going to need and what you need to do. So here are the things that you're going to need if you get into black powder handguns. Well, black powder revolvers. That's really it. There's either the muzzle loaders or the revolvers. You'll obviously need balls. You'll want tight-fitting balls. I like 451s, but most people swear by 454 for Walker or any 44 caliber revolver. I like the 451s. That's all. In this case, I'm shooting number 11 percussion caps, but you can also shoot number 10s. I've got a little box of them in here. I can't find it. I've got some Dynamite Nobel number 10s. They're right here. The size difference is very minute, but you'll notice a difference on the nipples of your revolver or percussion handgun. So this one prefers to use number 11. It's just how it is. Don't know why, how they're built. When I bought it, they said number 10s. Number 10s just split. So number 11s. You'll want some lube. This is boar butter. I can't really find this kind anymore, and I love this kind. It's the fresh pine scent, but you can still find the kind that comes yellow like that. So, but you'll want some of this. And obviously you'll need black powder. And today we are shooting out of the revolver. Real black powder. Now, I do have these wads out, mostly because I'm using these as filler. Normally what you'd use for filler, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute, is I'd use corn meal or corn flour or whatever. Some people use semolina flour. I'm just going to use these because I have them available. I don't have any corn flour right now, so it just makes things easier. Because I'm only going to be loading 30 grains of black powder into the Walker. I will do one shot of 60 grains just because I'm pretty sure people want to see what that looks like. But it's really, really hard on the revolver. So I'm only going to do one shot at 60 grains. Everything else will be 30 grains with that filler wad. So hopefully everything will work out. But as some of you may or may not know, at the MLAIC, the Muzzleloader Association International Championship, the winner of the Patterson Open Top Revolver competition used a Walker revolver. So don't listen to anybody who thinks that it's an inaccurate revolver. These are actually really accurate revolvers. You just have to know how to use them. And I'll explain that later. So why don't I just get to loading and show you what that looks like. So one of the first things you want to do is put it on half cock. Putting it on half cock makes it so the cylinder spins freely. This one has a very, very smooth cylinder. So as you've seen before, the powder flask has a 30 grain spout. My black one over here has a 20 grain spout. You can buy extra spouts for the brass ones, but not so much for the plastic ones. So you want to take 30 grains and put it in one of your chambers. And black powder definitely loads easier from this. Then you'll take a wad. And like I said, what you might want to use is some flour in this case. One thing the wad does help with definitely is keeping the bore clean. Like I also said, this is not the ideal way to do this, but sometimes you just got to work with what you have. So you index your chamber like so, take your loading lever and press down. Now the main reason I prefer 451 is the 454 balls, they'll actually leave a ring of lead and it just feels wasteful. 451 is just tight enough for these cylinders, and it's the perfect diameter for the rifling. So it actually bites into the rifling just fine, because when you're shooting, or when you're loading with a 4.54, you're cutting it down to 4.51 and giving it straight sides. So there's really no inherent difference. It seals the chamber just the same. So I'm going to load all 6 of these and get it primed. I will show you right now how to prime the chamber. So take one of these little caps. Guys are tiny. Like I say, number 11s for this one. Yours may be different. And what you'll do is find the nipple that matches up to the chamber that has a round and load it like so. Now sometimes you need to use something to press it in place. Some people consider this dangerous. This is just my method. I'm not suggesting that you do this, but I actually use the hammer to press it in place very gently. I don't suggest doing that if you're new to this. Using a piece of wood, like a wooden dowel, to press it in place works just fine. That's what most people do. I guess I'm just a little unsafe, but I've never had it go off in my hands, so I think I'm okay. One last important thing is you should always remember to lubricate your chamber. It doesn't actually do anything other than soften up the fouling. It's not like it's lubricating your barrel to make things go smoother or anything. It just softens up the fouling from the black powder and makes your revolver easier to clean. Some people say it seals the chamber. Really, what seals the chamber is the ball. The ball seals the chamber from having a chain fire. Okay, now we're back. So I've set up a target at 25 paces. You might be wondering, well, Ian, why is it further away than your previous targets? Well, the Walker, the way it was designed, it shoots high. I'm not sure if that's because maybe it was zeroed for a longer range, or perhaps it's just that they didn't expect you to really be aiming with the thing. I mean, it's a cavalry revolver, so you're going to be getting right up on somebody with this thing. But, you know, shooting for accuracy today, like you saw previously, I am shooting 30 grains of true black powder today. I try to use it sparingly because black powder is hard to get by, and generally it's more expensive than any other powder, mostly because of regulations and stuff that people place on it. It's a bit more expensive to keep around if you're a vendor, so completely understandable. Okay guys, so I had to do a take 2 on this one. I kept having a bunch of misfires and I was shooting over the target, which is normal for walkers. They shoot really high. This one shoots higher than I expected right now. I was aiming at the very bottom of the paper and I got 1 round on target on top of the paper. And if you guys want to see what that looks like, look right here. Wasn't very pretty. So I'm going to use the same paper and see if I can actually get some rounds on target. So I'm all reloaded, ready to go. So let's just get started. And I'm shooting with 2 hands. Don't hate me for it. It just means I'm stable. And as usual, caps get stuck. That's normal. So it doesn't look like I'm doing a great job today, but that's okay. I'm still having a good time. But it does look like I am still shooting above the target despite aiming literally below the board. Like, I am aiming at the ground. These things just aim really high. So why don't I do the 60 grain load, and that way you guys can see what that looks like, because it's a big boom, lots of smoke, and it's really fun. But I try to avoid doing it most of the time. So let me go take care of that, and I'll be right back. All right, so I loaded 2 chambers. The first chamber is 60 grains of black powder, and the other one is a cleaner load. Cleaner load is basically a load that you use to blow out the previous stuff of 777. So I'm going to index it so that when I pull the hammer back completely, the first one is going to be 60 grains of black powder. I don't expect high accuracy out of 60 grains, but who knows. I don't even see where that went. So let me just do the cleaner shot. And that's it. Both were 60 grains. But like I said, 60 grains is really not good for the revolver. I do not do that on a regular basis. I've already destroyed one wedge, barrel wedge. That's what this thing is right here. And yeah, it's hard on it. It's really hard on it. So max load I usually go for is 40 grains. Today I wanted to do 30 grains, but you know, that clearly didn't work out as well as I hoped. But you know, that's how it goes sometimes. You know, I'm pretty sure that this is an accurate revolver. I've just never been good with it. Okay, well, I kind of want to rescind my previous comment that this was not going so well. This actually went quite well. So I'm not sure what rounds of what loads went where, but it looks like for the most part, my last full cylinder that I shot was relatively on target. I wasn't expecting it to be super accurate. This is a heavy revolver, very shaky in the hand, and it looks like I was reasonably successful. I mean, at 25 yards and, you know, being hit with that much lead, one of these lead balls, which is, it doesn't give a weight, but fairly heavy. And, you know, I'm okay with that. That goes in the torso area, which is probably where you would aim with something like this in a military setting. And, you know, with some practice, I bet I could bring things a little bit tighter. So yeah, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So don't listen to me. I'm a liar. But yeah, good revolver. I'm quite pleased. Probably not as pleased as I could be, but you know, it's always a fun gun to shoot. So yeah, I would suggest this to anybody who just wants a black powder revolver for fun. They don't really care about being accurate. They just want something big and loud and smoky. This is your gun. This is the one for you. So just remember, guys, a good gun doesn't have to cost a pretty penny.